Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to Friendsim 2. Last we left off, we managed to finish through Act 10, Salvation Ending. So let's get right into it. Volume 11, One Cast a Troll. Continue to the next volume. Now there's depiction of death, depiction of state institutionalized violence, discussion of dead bodies, medical trauma, and sudden loud noises. Player and viewer discretion is advised. There is an alert from TZS. Whoever blew up my dock, you'll be facing the full might of the Empire soon. Currently experiencing outages due to server issues and a turning routing hub. Marvisol cancels planned appearance after saying prior appointments. Trending in entertainment. Sponsored. Mr. Chemsmell TM detect hazardous substances like a pro. Trending on Eternia Imperial warship sabotage robo-terrorists suspected. Interesting. Okay. After a while, Vakaya switches on the ship's autopilot and walks back into the cabin where you've been sitting, strapped into one of the jump seats for the past hour. This isn't, if you're being honest, at least very comfortable ship. Zibidi's was way better, like at least upgraded to business class on the long flight better.
Well, my friend, that's probably on account of your friend's ship is likely a pleasure craft.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that one for now.
As opposed to this here, which is a genuine Alternian combat vessel. Skips on the amenities a bit, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, I'm not surprised on that. Speaking of ships...
Oh boy, you ain't kidding. Did you see the way that warship went up? Just like a dang signal flare. Empress is going to be mighty and righteously pissed off that her brand new ship just got turned into so much kindling.
Yeah.
I expect some heads will roll after that, my friend. Some heads will roll indeed. On account of how they've been chopped off for failing the Empire, you see?
Yeah, you got that one already. You shift uncomfortably in your seat. Is this about done?
Got another hour or so till we dock. Then you're free to unhook yourself and roam about the cabin and all that.
Is he really okay with this? Dropping you off on an Imperial ship, you mean? He's not putting himself in any danger or anything. Vakia laughed.
Goodness no. You're some kind of rust blood, right?
Sure, yeah, let's go with that.
Why, there's a whole level of spirulina just for us of the warmer hues. A lot of hard work to be had there. I'm sure they can always use more hands. That's
reassuring, you think? You've been still trying to wrap your head around everything that's been happening, and the headache that's really trying to punch its way out from behind your eyes really isn't helping. What would help is that you could answer a few questions. What does the spiritual actually do? So you know that the spiritual is somewhere that the Purple Bloods live, clan specifically even, but that doesn't really get at the underlying question of what exactly the ship's for. Like, do they just kind of chill up there?
Why, that's a fantastic question. Really top shelf.
So he doesn't know.
Not a clue, my friend. I just go where they tell me and do what they tell me.
Okay, but if you had to guess, what do you think that the ship is?
Given the size, I'd wager it's a permanent residency. Beyond that, I couldn't tell you. About as far from a purple blood as it's physically possible to get and all that.
Vakia shrugs and smiles at you.
Best not to worry about it.
Okay, you still don't exactly love this situation. What kind of carrier is he?
Not entirely sure, my friend. Cargo hold's packed up with a bunch of storage containers, but I haven't a clue what they're storing.
Isn't that dangerous? Like, what if he's hauling something potentially hazardous? Doesn't he know that? So he can appropriate precautions? Like, don't you think Troll Oshar is a thing or anything? But it seems like common sense.
Oh, no worries, friend. If it was something that can explode, they'd likely tell me. No sense getting all worked up over it.
Oh, not really the most encouraging thing you've heard recently. You've been kept in the dark in a lot more than you'd like. So what's he planning to do now?
Now meaning when, exactly? Right now? Why, I'm planning to drop this cargo off per my very explicit orders.
Well, maybe skipping forward a little. What's he planning after dropping off the cargo? Vakar grins and nods.
I hear you loud and clear, friend. Wondering what old Valkyrie's got in the works?
Yes?
Why, I'm planning on keeping on with the Empire, following my orders and flying every chance I can get.
Huh.
And longer terms than that.
He pauses and frowns.
Probably eventually die horribly in service of her imperious condescension. But that's just how life goes sometimes.
That's actually not how life goes. There are so many people where that specific situation doesn't apply at all. In fact, you got a couple choice things to say about that. Spend a few minutes explaining the whole locked timeline thing to Vakir. He seems to get increasingly annoyed as you explain yourself.
Nonsense! I won't hear another word of that. Ridiculous notions of other universes and mad gods with shiny round heads. I got everything I need right here. And my friend, I'm happy with it. I'm not some attack pilot that'll be burned out in a sweep. I got real long-term prospects, you hear? Another universe. Absolute nonsense, and I won't hear a word of it.
Okay, fine. Jeez, they're just trying to help. It's not like there's much else you can do right now. Heck, you're not even sure what Spindler looks like.
Why, that's an easy one. Take a look out the window, my friend.
Farquhar slides back a blast shield from one of the heavy windows on the side of the back ship and gestures for you to come over. Carefully, you unbuckle yourself and walk over to take a look. At a distance, across the vast nothingness of the void of space, you can see a long, dark shape blotting out the far stars. The ship is massive, big enough to be clearly seen even this far out, and are covered with a series of almost organic shapes from one end to the other.
Real beauty, isn't she? Pride and joy of the Empire.
You're not sure what that beauty is the word that comes to mind to describe what you're looking at. It's so much as pure, unadulterated terror, but there's no accounting for taste, right? Fakir shrugs.
Whatever you say, friend. We'll be docked there soon enough.
With that, the chaos strolls back to the ship's cockpit, and you're once again alone. You settle into the seat next to the window and continue to stare as you inch closer and closer to the spindler. Something about the thing feels wrong, like the moment in a sci-fi horror movie where the derelict ship first appears, followed by approximately 2 hours of relentless terror. At this point, you prefer your life mostly free of terror, relentless or otherwise. So you settle into your seat, close your eyes, and hope desperately that things will go well.
Wake up, friend. Time for you to head on inside.
The first thing you notice as you step into the ship is how incredibly empty it feels. Intuitia wasn't exactly packed, full of patrols, but there were people out there at least. Granted, your only other data point was a newly commissioned warship specifically designed to carry a light crew, but still, this feels empty. Where is everyone?
Don't fret, my round-headed friend. This is merely the antechamber of the ship's lower levels.
Farquhar looks nervous. You don't want to necessarily commit to that, but there's definitely nervous energy there.
I will admit, being outside the confines of my ship is stepping out of my comfort zone a bit.
Well, he's free to step back into his comfort zone whenever. You already said that you're going to explore the ship, and explore the ship you will. Somewhere up there, the purple bloods must be living, and that means you have a decent chance you can find some people who, you know.
Well, you have the best fun with that, my friend.
Well, another word. Vakir practically dashes off back to his ship, and you're suddenly very alone in some extremely spooky corridors. Well, heck, time to get exploring, I guess. You spend a decent amount of time wandering again, the whole area looping back in on itself over and over again. It's hard enough to get your bearings in here, let alone figure out where the exit to the residential sections of the ship is. The good news is that you're almost completely somewhat confident that this remarkably sane-feeling corridor will be the right one. You can turn another corner and you're struck by a singular thought, and you're thinking of a maze again, mostly because the ship's corridors are laid out like one and you have no idea where to go next. If you didn't know any better, you swear that it was getting darker, not that the ship was already super well lit. You're pretty sure you only went this way. Settle down, noise warning. Why the heck is it getting so cold? I'm purposely gonna fail. Barely have time to react as the screams echo through the hollow metal corridors. You find yourself freezing up. Come on, this is no time not be able to move. Oh heck. Boom! Council will see you now. Find yourself once again in the featureless void of the bad decisions and cryptic moments. Lobodeka. Huh. Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue in our humble opinions. Oh, there's a new one. It's spewing gibberish at you. Wonderful. You seem upset. Want to talk about it? Or think about it in some way that allows us to view internal monologue, as the case may be? Of course you're upset. You only end up in this place when you screw up so bad that you only have to way to make things right is to undo whatever it was that you did. Usually involves dying, which shockingly sucks. Would you rather stay dead? You might be able to do something about that if you like. It would throw a wrench into things for sure, and all that salvation revolution stuff would be for nothing, but the offer's still there if you want it. No, that's not what you meant. You've been doing this for how long now? Long enough. About a year our time, but that doesn't mean much to you. However long it's been, you have nothing to show for it, just moving forward into more mistakes, more death. You've done more than you think. You know how hard it to see from where you are. Most progress is. From where we stand, though, you come a long way from serving as a vehicle for vague homoeroticism and jokes of how hot dogs look really phallic. You care about people, and you found something to fight for. So just keep fighting a little while longer. You're so close to the finish line. And don't be afraid to screw up. We can always use a chance. I'm rooting for you. Good luck. As the screen echoes through the hollow metal corridors, you stumble forward across the hallway into a hatch you didn't even notice before. Tripping sideways, you find yourself falling. See. Codex, I know about you. Interesting. Heck, this can't possibly be real. You're just in Splendor. How can you suddenly be here again? Are you even here?
My dear reader, I think you underestimate how thin the walls between reality and fiction are here. Not to mention your own annoying tendency to sidestep both causality and any sense of proper decorum. Which is to say, you're here now, at least, in a sense.
What?
No, you are unbelievably obtuse. We are talking across both time and space. Across the infinite void of the narrative itself. I would have thought that was clear enough.
This isn't the first time someone said stuff like this to you. Is he planning to talk past you to just whatever it is that sits on the other side of the screen? Another entity that exists right beyond the scope of your comprehension?
What are you talking about? I can assure you, the only entity that exists outside of your comprehension is myself.
Strange feeling washes over you, a feeling like the world just got another crack in it.
I'm still prepared to be reasonable, you know. Your actions are like tossing stones into a pond. The ripples spread and intersect. Are you prepared to deal with those consequences?
You don't know, is he? Scratch laughs at you.
Oh, my dear reader, this is simply too much. I am perhaps the only true constant in this world. If you care at all about your own well-being, you should find a comfortable hole to crawl into, and never crawl back out again.
You wake until darkness and absolutely vile taste in your mouth. What happened? Last thing you remember, you're passing out on the floor. If movies have taught you anything, you should have woken up in some stranger's room with a rude word scrawled on your forehead, or with some strange, concerned faces peering down on you, not whatever this is. And the taste in your mouth is only getting worse. It's like someone put burning shrimp in your mouth and then doused the flames with sweat. Spit isn't going to cut it. You need to wipe your tongue off. You can't move. Something has your entire body trapped, pressing down on you and keeping you from moving your limbs. Fantastic. Awareness slowly creeps back in, and you can feel something lukewarm and vaguely squishy pressing in all around.
Come on, you gotta help me with this!
I am here to ward off any of the vengeful dead.
Your head is killing you, and your body is so all over.
I'll help.
Finally! Just pull these two off the top and...
Wait a minute, is that...
What the fuck is that?
What? Let me see.
Your excitement at seeing your old friends Damien again is only exceeded by your excitement by seeing Frozen. You think that's Tram's voice there. Their face is covered with a mask, but you recognize their voice. But your excitement is soon tempered when it finally hits what's happening. Corpses. You're buried in corpses. Dead trolls fill the entirety of the bin you're lying in, covered in all manners of gruesome injuries. One right next to you, your face is covered in burns. Another is just a torso, guts spilling out the bottom. A third is shriveled up like a deflated balloon. You need to get out of here. You open your mouth to scream for help, but something heavy impacts the top of your corpse pod, driving all the air from your lungs. By the time you have your breath back, the cover has returned and you're once more plunged into darkness. This time, unconscious comes. It's a blessing.
See, I told you it was weird.
Weird is an understatement. This is the most fucked up troll I've ever seen.
How bizarre. Its body is almost entirely nondescript, except for the markings here on its face.
Oh, I drew those.
Why?
It looks so nondescript. Does it matter? Nothing this mutated could possibly be.
Did it just twitch?
Ugh, your head, where are you now? You open your eyes to find yourself in a modestly decorated living space. Sitting you down, are your three friends from before. You recognize these trolls. You know these trolls. You've befriended these trolls. Though, through some serpentitious miracle, you find yourself staring at a familiar face, a friendly face.
Father, if it stares at me like that for 3 more seconds, exorcise it and dump the body in the furnace.
Hey, you're not in it. Wait, what are your pronouns? You never really got the topic given the topic much thought, and you really don't have the assigned gender considering as far as you're aware. You're more of a narrative construct given flesh. Maybe you are in it. Your pondering must have taken more than 3 seconds because a new figure steps in front of you, pushing the head of the staff into your shadow.
Foul creature, prepare to be cast out. Oh,
Fresher doesn't need to introduce himself. You know his name already.
What?
Yeah, well, Demon said he'd earlier, but he knew him before that. Does he not remember you?
I have absolutely no memory of anything even remotely resembling you.
Okay, that's a bit disheartening to hear. But when you first met him, Fuzzy was going through some weird heck that you never really fully understood, so maybe that messed with his memory or something? Damien remembers you, right? You went off that street grand adventure through the sewers to snack some sweet sausage.
That does sound like something I do.
Sounds like it. He was there.
Listen, I really don't remember a lot of what happened right after my Lucis died and my hive was destroyed. I was going through a lot at the time.
Can't really argue with that. Having your house firebombed with your parents still in it probably was really traumatizing. You assume you never actually had a parent, but if you did and they were exploded, you'd probably be really sad. You have to make like 30 friends to teach you.
Before you ask, I remember absolutely nothing before my ascension, because apparently I had some sort of disorder or something. But I have pills now, so I can actually think and have energy to do things and stuff.
Really? Damn, that sucks. You and Charm did all that in art talk? Think about it, you really can't blame Charm for not remembering you. You did kind of just show up, talk about art with them, and leave. Damien gives you a flat stare.
So you're telling me that you've met all 3 of us on 3 completely separate occasions, all 3 of us forgot about you, and you've just so happened to reunite with all 3 of us at the same time?
Yeah.
Well, what are the fucking odds?
The slap he gives you back sends you stumbling to your knees.
Whoa, you okay, pal? I know I must have filled out a bit since last you saw me, but I don't think I'm that strong. When was the last time you ate anything?
That's a very good question. You have no idea. For all you know, your body has started digesting itself for nutrition.
Oh yeah, wouldn't have been the first time I've seen that. Stay right there and I'll get you some food.
With that completely unexpected announcement, Damien disappears through a door, leaving you with Frozen Charm. So sorry about the whole screaming thing before. You're pretty freaked out when you first woke up, on the count of the corpses. The look that Frozen Charm is giving the look that Frozen Charm is giving you suggests that this doesn't strike them as being especially abnormal. Did you mention there was a ghost?
It would not surprise me at all. The vengeful dead are part and parcel of what we do.
Occupational hazard.
Okay. Oh, okay, but did you mention the ghost, right? And all the corpses?
Yes, a couple times now. Well, I'm going to my room to get ready for dinner.
Stay and talk with Rosier. Say there, Rosier.
Greetings, foul demon.
Hey, he doesn't really remember you?
Not at all.
Fine. Oh, wow, there's a lot of books here. Has Rosier read all these? Not exactly seen these many books in one place before. Ever. Except in the library, but you don't think that librarians are expected to read all the books. Or maybe they're on Eternia? Your exposure of Eternia has librarians, which probably has some sort of silly troll name like barbarians or something to read all the books in the libraries or barbarians?
What? No, that's ridiculous. All Empire-controlled sources of information are staffed by drones to prevent the dissemination of improper knowledge to the lower castes.
Oh, right, Eternian sucks. You forgot about that for a second. Frozer sighs and seems to relax a little bit.
Feel free to take a look around. If you see something interesting, just ask. About the books, not the other things you ask questions about.
Let's see. So what does he remember from Eternia? First it doesn't seem to really remember you.
Not in the slightest.
And you know that sharing about Noah isn't extremely unusual.
Extremely.
But you swear you met before. You were in a graveyard and you met him and you talked about, you're not really sure what, but you did think it was like troll Marxism. Does that ring a bell? Then there was a big flash of light and his whole personality changed. Seriously, none of this is sounding familiar at all?
Well, I do remember my time in the graveyard.
Well, that's good.
But it feels as if it were a deep and distant dream.
Wow.
And then I remember dreams of a deep, booming voice in the green that felt like a warm blanket all around me. I didn't need to worry about anything anymore.
You feel a weird crawling sensation along your back.
But it's hard to recall it now.
Can't say he seems a lot less enthusiastic about the Empire than he was when you last saw him. Frozy is quiet now, and he doesn't look like he really wants to talk about this.
There's more to that story than we have time for at present. Perhaps later.
Perhaps later is always the best thing.
Was there anything else?
Why, as a matter of fact, what's up with
You'll
these
have
books?
to be more specific. As you can see, I have a number of books.
Would he take ages to go through all these books in detail, but if you clutch your eyes, there's an entire row dedicated to a single series, a simple graphic of a Lucis that looks a lot like a pig, replacing the spot in the spine where the title would normally be. Top of nightstand is a pamphlet displaying some sort of humanoid plant with multiple eyes and way too many fangs, and for you it feels for you to feel comfortable. The cover reads Domination Guide Species 93872 Color Edition and promises to contain secret tips, tricks, and cheats to dealing with whatever this alien is. Finally, you see a shelf that's filled with a series of dusty titles of Subjulator, Championship Wrestling with Faith, Troll Judaism in the Age of Interstellar Dysphoria, and Snookered. How one troll invented a moon cult from scratch. Are these your ledger's texts? Makes you maybe Froze has changed more than you realize.
Was there anything else?
Why, matter of fact.
That depends on which big, old-looking books you mean. I have quite a variety.
Yeah, talking about the old books. Frozier shuffles over to the shelves and taps a few of the volumes, sending a small plume of dust out in the air.
Religious texts, both of the more common and slightly older, slightly more heretical sort.
Heretical? Isn't there some sort of kind of imperial rule?
Perhaps. But those of us who deal with the deceased must be familiar with the possible conceptions of the afterlife that their spirits might hold. Ghosts are, of course, notoriously particular about that kind of thing. Sometimes we have to adapt our mannerism to fit their expectations.
So you're saying he has to pretend to be a priest or whatever? Frozier rolls his eyes.
An inept way of phrasing it, but yes, I guess so. The rest of the texts are primarily related to the proper treatment and disposal of bodies.
You didn't realize this was so complicated.
Oh yes, very complicated, and a number of things can go wrong. Best to be prepared. Was there anything else?
Why, matter of fact, what's this domination guide about?
Every time a new sapient species is encountered, the Empire publishes a domination guide, explaining how to best turn them into workers for the colonies. There are quite a few species out there, and the methods needed to tame them can vary immensely.
That makes sense, you suppose. Even the idea of interstellar imperialism strikes you as pretty evil. I'm not sure if you count as human, but the thought of a human domination guide being printed out one day makes you feel queasy. Why does suppose you even own these?
I'm expected to spend the rest of my life on this ship. Whether I agree with the Empire's practices or not, the guides are one of the only ways I'm ever going to experience the universe outside of these walls.
That makes a weird kind of sense, even if it's incredibly depressing thoughts. Frozier shrugs and you can see his expression sour.
Yes, I suppose.
Okay, you think that's probably enough for now. You get the sense that there's that you're kind of annoying Frozer by being here, and you've got other stuff to do.
I suppose. It was nice to talk to a fellow appreciator of fine Alternian non-fiction literature, in any case. Perhaps you'd like to take some of this along for later perusal.
You're not sure if he's already jamming several books into your arms. Handbook for Presently Relieved of Life. Oh, that's morbid. And the Species Guide, too. That definitely seems normal. And something called The Casts and the Particular Maladies. That looks, let's call it, moderately to severely bad.
I've got more you can borrow if you ever find yourself in need.
I'm sure these would be very useful. No, I think you're good for now. You flip through the books Frozer gave you, hoping for some words of wisdom. Here's something. Species 347, home planet Brokaton. Physical description resembles Eternian per beast in their larva stages. Intelligence unknown. Notes extremely parasitic. The Imperial Guide to Dominion Revised Edition. How enlightening. Well, that was certainly something. You can figure you can come back to these whenever you want to if you want more insight into turning culture. Probably using some kind of icon in the upper right corner in the UI if you're for some reason in video game right now. You laugh nervously at Frozer, who simply fixes you with a strange look. Okay, cool, good chat. Let's go talk to Jerem. Oh, I get to... So... You laugh at... Okay, cool, good chat. You flip through the books Frozer gave you, hoping for some words of wisdom. Brown's gland teal blood. An organ that occasionally occurs in teal bloods. Brown's gland is simulated near the diaphragm. The gland produces a chemical compound which ignites on contact with air, allowing Chos to seemingly breathe fire. Fortunately, this mutation bestows no resilience to fire, and self-immolation being common. Edible. Casts... lightning? I don't know how to pronounce that. Olive blood, similar to something. This is the overgrowth that shows exoskeleton, resulting in their bones protruding through the skin, typically around the fingers. Though spurs in other areas aren't uncommon. If left unchecked, internal growth can lead to punctured organs. Edible. See, species 607. There's a home planet, physical description, size of an average Danian, pale skin, shambling appearance, grinning cries. Intelligence presumably useful for performing mental, technical labor. See, there's multiple. Okay, condition which regulates information. Blood pushes inside the body for control. Okay. Let's see here. Rust bloods. Okay, so there's just like a lot of different things.
I don't know that any of us would fit the category of old friend to you.
Oh, those are just small details. You sure Jerem would be absolutely thrilled to get the chance to talk to you a little bit more. You wander the corridors looking for Jerem. Most of the doors to the rooms have symbols and names on them, so it's not like you're completely lost. Finally, you found Jerem's room and locks off.
What is it? If you want to come in, you can.
Inside the rest block is an absolutely chaotic nightmare of stuff. There's posters and action figures and books and surprisingly robust collections of skulls.
Oh, you're there.
They sound tired, but they'll probably need immediate medical intervention kind of way they did back on Eternia a couple sleeps ago. More like they're just tired from having to work for the Empire.
You could say that. Tired. That's one way to put it.
They sound...
Is there something you wanted?
Well, as a matter of fact, it's all the stuff. You love to sit here and pick through everything and ask you about it, but you don't really feel like you have the time right now. Instead, you're just overrun by the sheer amount of random junk in the room.
Don't worry, there's a system to it.
Is there?
Sure. I've got objects ordered by type and date I found them. Unless I run out of room, in which case they just go wherever.
Okay, you can kind of see that. There's a shelf of various plush creatures in various states of moldering decay. Shelf for skulls. Gotta have your skull shelf after all. Books on one shelf, posters up on a wall. Yeah, I can see how there's a system here. But what about that shelf there that just seems to be random collection of crystals, snow globes, and random stuff in jars?
Oh yeah, right. That's my crystals, snow globes, and random stuff in jars shelf.
Of course.
Are you all set?
No, there's something else. What do they do here? Like, are they a core processor or something like that? You seem to vaguely recall one of your friends using that word once. Tram shrugs and smiles at you.
Kind of. Core processing is so much simpler. Just take the bodies and dump them in a pile somewhere.
To be fair, you were recently in a pile of dead bodies.
Sure, but that's just step one of the process.
Okay, good to know that there's a process at least, but what do they do specifically?
Take everything off the corpses, give them a good home.
Which is, judging by the side of things, is their rust block? Charm doesn't bother to dignify that with a response.
I check for anything dangerous when we're processing the bodies. Like explosives.
Is that common?
More than you might think, or less depending on your frame of reference.
Okay, yeah, that definitely feels like an important note for later.
Are you all set?
No, there's something else. Where are the purple bloods? Got the distinct impression that this is a purple blood ship, but you haven't actually seen any purple bloods anywhere. The people you've talked to, and even the buddies you've seen, are mostly lower bloods. Oh my god, are the purple bloods killing low bloods for sport? Is that like all they do once they go through Ascension?
You're good at jumping to conclusions, aren't you?
So, no sport killing. Tram shrugs.
I don't know. There's purples on the upper levels, but they never come down here. And the bodies come from all over the place, actually. Spiritual significance, I guess. In all the time we've been here, we never gave much thought to the why of it.
Tram shrugs the shirt and smiles.
Sorry, I'm not actually sure. I just do my job. But I know that these folks aren't all being killed on the ship.
You feel like the word all is important there, but you're not going to say anything right away. Probably important to keep in mind for later. Maybe.
Are you all set?
No, there's something else. What do they remember?
To be perfectly honest, not very much.
Really? Nothing at all? They don't even remember hanging out in the trash?
That does sound like me, but no, not really. What I remember from Alternia is more like a sense of place, you know? I remember being there, but not really what I was doing there.
Jerem shrugs and smiles vaguely.
Weird thing to say for someone who grew up there, I guess.
Do they remember the Ascension and the Geos? You have a hard time picturing exactly what that consists of from talking to your friends. Get the sense that it's a combination of various kinds of tests, military training, and professional education. You're not sure. The only other olive bloods you've talked to were in the army and the run of being recruited into the army, so...
Don't think I'm much cut out for that.
Tram flexes one of their arms jokingly and smiles. Tram is looking increasingly done with your crap, and you feel like it might be nice to leave them alone for a little while. Time to go find some other way to make some nuance of yourself. Look in Damien's room. So, quick question, not really related to anything at all, but do they happen to know where Damien's room is?
Yes, but they're not there right now.
No, you're just trying to get a sense of the vibes, not trying to snoop or anything.
What? I didn't say anything about that.
Okay, bye. You're not sure where Damien's room is exactly, but you're overcome with a powerful urge to snoop. So, little details like knowing where you're going hardly even matter. You spend a good 10 minutes wandering, but eventually you find something that you think is probably Damien's room. It's got his symbol on the door and his name written roughly in Ontarian script. Wow, this isn't exactly what you're expecting. Room is stark, brightly lit, and almost completely unfurnished, other than the replicoon and the fish tank sitting over there. The whole place looks like it's something out of the showroom of a particularly avant-garde furniture store. You guess you can look around? Look at the fish. The fish tank sits up against the wall, filled with sand and plants, along with a couple of small purple fish swimming lazily around. You have no idea how Damien even got this here, much less populated with living fish. Maybe the fish are some kind of weird parasite that lives in corpses? That honestly wouldn't be too far-fetched given everything else you've seen. Look at the books. Not even any books here, just a couple hardcover coated in fine layer of dirt and grime. You can barely even make out the titles. Looking at a few pages, it looks like these are core processing manuals, full of information on how to properly prepare bodies. Gross. Hopefully your experiences with dead bodies are over and done with. If only you knew, reader. Look at Replicon. The Replicon looks like it's the same basic model with all the other ones you've seen, basically everywhere. Nothing special at all. But as you look closer, you start to notice small differences between the Replicon here and some of the other ones you've seen before. The slime looks like it's a slightly different shade of green. A quick check with your fingers lets you know it's slightly more viscous as well. You feel like all this means something, but you have no idea what. Just another piece of information to store in your mental files to pester someone about later. You think you've probably exhausted all of your options in this surprisingly minimalistic room. Maybe it'll be better to do something else? As you're trying to leave the room, you notice something that catches your eye. A piece of paper half crumpled and stuck in between the Replicon and the nightstand. Unable to resist the siren song of invading other people's privacy, you glance down at the form. It looks like some kind of handwritten medical report. You're not sure who prepared it, but it doesn't look like long to skim through. It sounds like Damien is having a problem with memory loss. So, with memory loss, low energy, and occasionally difficulty speaking. Kinda sounds like what Charon was going through back on Eternia. You wonder if Damien can get the same kind of pills for his condition. But you have a chance to really interrogate that, your stomach begins to rumble uncomfortably, and you realize that it's been ages since you last ate anything. You should have grabbed some overpriced food back at the bar, but that ship had long since sailed and sunk far beneath the waves. Instead, you decide to find your way to where the food is. The cafeteria is filled with other trolls all sitting around eating in small groups. So I see orange, yellow, or bronze, gold, and olives. And maybe rust bloods? So yeah, because I think these two are rust bloods. This is bronze, this is gold. I think he's probably a gold as well. Olive. Yeah, and then obviously gold here. Maybe filled with his overselling it, but there's a handful of other trolls here. Can't help but wonder what they're all doing down here.
Support stuff, mostly. Keep the lights on, keep the pipes from blowing up too much.
Why are they all dressed differently than Tram and Frosier then? Because they don't seem to be... Because they don't work on disposing of bodies that come to the ship?
Simply a product of differing social expectations. This is the uniform as the ship's main expert on the recently deceased.
Cool, and what's with Charon's outfit?
I just like dressing like this. Who's gonna stop me?
Okay, good point, really. So there was actually something you wanted to talk about, now that you're both here. Something you found in Damien's room. Two of them look extremely confused, glancing back and forth between each other.
Well, what is it? Don't continue to make us suffer the sting of your silence.
Well, while you were investigating Damien's room, you happened to find evidence that he's suffering from some kind of medical condition that could probably use treatment. Standard disclaimer that you're not an attorney and doctor applies, of course.
There's really no way to know.
Actually, we could use the scanner we use for examining bodies.
Okay, but what if Damien had some sort of medical problem? Is there like a doctor you can take him to? The length of the pause is making you really uncomfortable with the answer is going to be.
Medical facilities are locked off by blood color.
Okay, that's not ideal, but you think you might have another solution. You know that they don't really remember you, but you're kind of coming out left field with this, but... you can get them out of here. Spend as little time as possible explaining the locked timeline and everything that's been happening to you in the last however long it's been. Time is a little bit slippery sometimes. As you talk, especially when you mention the brilliant white void, Fossier stares at you intently.
There's something familiar about all this, from sweeps ago.
Well, given that Doc Scratcher's the same person who kind of just altered Frozer's whole personality on a whim...
And you're from the same place as he is.
Not exactly. You're not from Eternia originally, or anywhere near it, honestly. The story about how you wound up here in the first place is a long one, but the short version is, you're like...
Obviously.
But you got friends who can probably help Damien out, and your plan has doctors on it. Maybe not Eternian doctors, but you feel like doing something is better than literally nothing here. Before you have a chance to close the loop on these thoughts, you hear a crackling noise and an unfamiliar voice come onto the public address system.
Attention body disposal. Please report to processing room 1 immediately. This is a priority assignment.
Shit, where's Demon? This is gonna be such a pain in the bulge without him.
Hey, don't worry about it. Let him take it easy for now.
Absolutely unacceptable. We need someone to help handle the processing duties.
Well, good thing you got someone right here. You just meaningfully at yourself and waggled your eyebrows.
I guess we could let them help.
I fear you are likely woefully unqualified for this.
That's okay, you do stuff you're unqualified for all the time. Acting as an unlicensed attorney, semi-professional graphic design, acting as an unlicensed therapist.
Fine, let's just go. We'll get in trouble if we wait for Demon.
It is imperative that you understand the gravity of this situation.
Oh yeah, you're all about gravity, like black holes and crap.
I'm not joking. If we fail in our duties, it can have severe consequences, both for us and the ship's crew at large.
Please don't fuck up and kill us. That's the point here.
You follow Tram and Frozer through a series of unfamiliar corridors, finally arriving at a heavy door with a series of warning signs and Eternia all over it. Which I'm going to quickly save here, just in case I mess up the first time. The inside of the room reminds you vaguely of an old-timey operating room, but everything is kind of grungy and gross. I'm guessing the sterile conditions aren't super important when it comes to processing corpses. As you're looking around and trying to figure out your bearings, Sharam tosses you a heavy apron that feels like it's made of thick leather.
You'll need this.
You struggle to put on your apron while Tram and Frozer both move around the room preparing various objects. Can't help but wonder if they'll explain what it is you're supposed to actually be doing.
Ensure that the souls of the departed rest easy, or at least their non-corporeal residue essence.
Fozzer's not much for the concept of the soul.
Material reality supports no such conclusion.
Well, except for all the ghosts.
Manifestations of energy and nothing more. Potentially.
The autocratic decision-making entity is still out on that one.
In any case, you'll be needing this.
Frozer hands you a small tablet like your palm husk, but less flashy. Oh, you're hoping for a pamphlet, and actually the kind that explains a series of colorful illustrations with guidance and helpful text.
Alright, I've got a hot plate of bread loaf waiting, so let's get this shit done with. I'll send down the first body. You figure out what to do with it.
Okay, everyone ready?
I am attending my assigned position.
I have no idea what you're doing, none whatsoever. Tram sighs and walks you over to put a hand firmly on your shoulder.
It's really quite simple. As the one handling the physical bodies, you'll be guiding the process. First, a body will be deposited on the table. Next, I will be examining their possessions to look for objects that might hamper our efforts.
Tram begins rooting around the body and going through their clothes. Finally, they pull something out of one of the corpse's pockets.
For example, this concussion grenade would have likely caused a catastrophic failure in the recycling system, killing all of us. So, no pressure.
Great, what happens next? Frozer steps forward.
We'll have to be alert for signs of the incursion of vengeful or otherwise dissatisfied spirits. For example, the presence of a spirit is often accompanied by strange voices or a sudden drop in temperature.
You notice the thermometer off to one side, but it looks like it's holding steady. No voices either. Frozer stops for a second and closes his eyes, concentrating.
I sense no sign that this body is haunted.
Cool, probably a good thing. So now what?
Now it's your turn to shine. You need to inspect the body physically. See, there's a chance that the body won't actually be dead. Kind of. A small chance that they might come back as a zombie.
Take a step back from the body. Suddenly very rare just how close it's going to be to you. So how do you tell if the body's going to be a zombie or not?
You can expect the corpse for lesions, I believe. Demon would know more.
You grab the scalpel and the bone hacky thing and begin to conduct a hasty opposite time to get to the bottom of this. You set the scalpel and tongs down, and looks like you learned what you're going to do from this body.
And he left his stethoscope to listen.
Sounds which are...
I'm afraid I don't know. Perhaps an unusual noise of some kind. Corpses are typically not supposed to make noise.
Take the stethoscope. So listen, you don't hear anything out of the ordinary.
And once you've done everything, you need to tag the body.
With heavy noise, the body gets shunted into the weird face to the left. You assume that's recycling.
Normally they go into recycling, but contaminated bodies need to go into the incinerator, and haunted corpses need to be interned for further processing.
Be careful, however. Interning worthless corpses will only draw the wrath of our superiors.
Having a certain amount of exposure to Artonian fleet senior officers, you have a feeling this would be good to avoid that.
Yeah, no shit.
Hey, cool, you got this. You've got, indeed, got this stuff. Okay, I'm gonna save just
Are you done patching the new Rusty up? I'll send down the next few bodies. Just remember, time is ticking on these.
I believe there's 3 or 4. Ooh. So, title screen. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna pause it here. So with that, I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives. And may the stars forever guide your path, forever might lead you into the future. Goodbye, everybody. See you next time.